Hello, readers. Welcome to the Reader's Garden. I'm Mrs. Gardner. I am so excited to read and learn with you today. So let's get going.
Phonics connects sounds and symbols, unlocking code, increasingly nimble, like wings for words, it'll lift you high. With every sound you soar, you fly.
These are all the stops we're going to make today on our journey through the Reader's Garden. For this lesson, I will be there for you for every step of the way as we practice becoming stronger readers and stronger writers. So let's start following our path. This is the letter Q. What letter is this? The letter Q. Yep, that's right. And Q is a consonant. It's a very interesting consonant because there's certain things about Q that make it different from all the other letters. Let me tell you more about that. So in the English language, when we see the letter Q, we typically also see the letter U right next to it, like almost always. And together, these two letters as a team make the sound qua, qua. Can you make that sound? Qua. We hear that qua in the beginning of the word queen. Queen. Can you say queen in a fancy way? Queen, queen, queen. Qua, qua, qua. We often see the Q and the U together in the beginning of words, such as in the word quiz, qua, is, quiz. Oops, I did that weird. Let's try that again. You do it with me. Qua, is, quiz. Or in the beginning of the word quilt. Ooh, I love quilts. I'm such a blanket person. I just love to be cozy. All right, let's say quilt together, saying those sounds. Quilt, quilt, quilt. Now, even though Q and U are two different letters, together they make that qu sound, which is one sound. Now let's talk more about how this sound is made because kind of like the X that we talked about in our last lesson, there's more than one mouth shape that's happening when we're making the qu sound. All right, let's explore the qu sound. It is like a teamwork sound. This sound happens when the two letters Q and U work together to make the qu sound. So we're going to start by rounding our lips like we're about to whistle. Then use the back of our tongue to block the airflow for just a quick moment before letting it burst out with a puff. Try it out. Round your lips, stop that air, and then pop it out. Isn't it amazing how letters can team up to create sounds? I think about this is where our voice is sort of like an instrument, and we have all these different cool things that we can do with it to make musical notes in a way, but instead of them being notes, they're phonemes. And so is a really interesting phoneme because we have those two mouth shapes happening with it. Let's write the letter Q in the air. So making that letter Q is going to be two lines, but one of them super curvy. All right, so we're going to start at the top, and we're talking all the way top, and you're going to do like an egg shape. So we're going to go down, curve around to the bottom, but keep going, curve back up to the top and stop where you started. So we've got our big egg, and now at the bottom, we're going to do a little slanted line, and that line starts about halfway between the middle point and the bottom point, and you're just going to do a little slanted line to the bottom. Just a little notch. All right, let's do it again. Do a big egg that takes up the space from the top to the bottom, curve, 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 and stop. Hop down so you're below the middle line and do a little slanted line down to the bottom. And that's an uppercase letter Q. To make a lowercase letter Q, it looks very different from an uppercase letter Q. Isn't that interesting? Some letters, the big one and the small one, look almost exactly alike, except one's smaller. But that's not happening in this situation. We have a lowercase q that's very different. So to make a lowercase q, you're going to start at the middle line and do a curve around, 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 and back up to the middle line. Then you'll do a straight line down, down, down past the bottom, and then stopping there, you'll slant back up to that bottom line. I've actually always really enjoyed doing lowercase q's. Now, it's important to note that sometimes when people do the lowercase q, they don't always do the slant back up, and that is okay. It's still a lowercase q, it's just a different way of writing it. Okay, let's practice again. So you're going to start at the middle, curve around, 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 back up to the top, straight down, past the bottom, and do a little slanted line back up to the bottom. And that's how you write an uppercase and a lowercase q.
Now that you've heard about our new concept, we're going to continue on with our phonemic awareness practice. We'll be blending with our friend Blenda and segmenting with our friend Siggy. So let's go meet up with them.
It's time to blend some phonemes. Blender, the blender by. Please blend each sound that I tell you, then say the word you got.
Hi, Blenda. Thank you for joining us today. All right, readers out there, thank you for being with us in the Reader's Garden. I know Blenda's happy to see you too. So we're going to say some sounds, and then we'll blend them together so that our friend Blenda can understand what we are saying. Does that work for you, Blenda? Wonderful. Does that work for you? Then let's get blending. Our first sounds are a, x, a, x, axe. We made the sound axe, like you would use to chop wood. All right, let's do another one. T, x. Do it again. T, x. Blend them. Tux, tux. Ooh, tux is a nickname for a tuxedo, which is like a very fancy suit that people wear. Oftentimes when people wear that suit, they look a little bit like a handsome penguin. All right, Blenda, did you understand axe and tux so far? Great, let's do a third one. We're going to do x. Again, x. Blend, vex, vex. So vex is kind of a fancy word for saying that you're upset. So instead of saying, I'm so upset, you might say, I am very vexed. It's almost like an old-fashioned way to say that you're upset. Blenda, did you know the word vex? Oh, you did? Oh, great. Okay, and then for our last one, let's do a word with 4 sounds. Here we go. T, x, t. Again, t, x, t. Blend them. Text, text. This is a word we hear a lot because people often talk about texting on their phones. So you'll say, did you get that text? Oh yes, I got that text. This is a very common word nowadays. Blenda, did you get that word? Did you know it? Oh, of course you did. Blenda, thank you so much for helping us, and we will see you at our next lesson.
Oh, hey there, Siggy, how you doing today? You're an expert segmenter and you love to play. Miss Gardner, tell us a word and let's all listen close. Then we'll say each phoneme our practice really shows.
Oh, hey there, Siggy. How are you doing today? So we are going to say some words, but so that Siggy can understand them, we'll segment them into their individual sounds or their individual phonemes. So our first word is the word queen. Queen. All right, let's stretch that word out. Queen. Queen. I hear qu-e-n. 3 sounds. Qu-e-n. Queen. Beautiful. Siggy, did you understand queen? Yeah? Do you know any queens? No, me neither. All right, our next word is the word quick. Quick. Let's stretch it. Quick. 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 I heard quick. Quick. Siggy, did you understand those phonemes? Good. Our next word is 4 sounds. The word is quest. 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 I hear quest. Let's do them on our fingers. Quest. Blend them. Quest. I love the word quest. So much more fun you're going to say you're going on a quest than you're going to go run an errand, right? I'm going to go on a quest to the grocery store. Siggy, did you understand quest or quest? Good. And for our last one, we are going to do the word squid. 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 Do them on our fingers. Squid. Squid. Siggy, did you understand those phonemes? Oh, good. Have you ever seen a squid? Yeah, I've seen one too at an aquarium. It was very cool. All right, my friend Siggy, thank you for your help, and we will see you at our next lesson. Bye.
Wonderful work, readers. It's time now for our visual drill practice. So let's keep heading down this path.
This is the letter X. What does the letter X spell? The letter X spells X, X. The letter X spells X, like in the word fox. This is the letter Y. What does the letter Y spell? The letter Y spells Y, like in the beginning of the word yarn. This is the letter J. And what does the letter J spell? The letter J spells J. The letter J spells J, like in the beginning of the word jellyfish. This is the letter W. And what does the letter W spell? The letter W spells W. The letter W spells W, like in the beginning of the word water. This is the letter L. And what does the letter L spell? The letter L spells ul. The letter L spells ul, like in the beginning of the word lion. This is the letter R. And what does the letter R spell? The letter R spells The letter R spells like in the beginning of the word rainbow. This is the letter H. And what does the letter H spell? The letter H spells The letter H spells like in the beginning of the word hat. This is the letter K. And what does the letter K spell? The letter K spells K. The letter K spells K, like in the beginning of the word key. This is the letter S. And what does the letter S spell? The letter S spells S. The letter S spells S, like in the beginning of the word snake. This is also the letter S. And the letter S also spells, the letter S also spells Z. The letter S also spells Z, like in the word music. Music. This is the letter E. And what does the letter E spell? The letter E spells E. The letter E spells E, like in the beginning of the word elephant. This is the letter B. And what does the letter B spell? The letter B spells B. The letter B spells B, like in the beginning of the word ball. This is the letter G. And what does the letter G spell? The letter G spells G. The letter G spells G, like in the beginning of the word goat. This is the letter U. And what does the letter U spell? The letter U spells The letter U spells like in the beginning of the word umbrella. This is the letter C. And what does the letter C spell? The letter C spells K. The letter C spells like in the beginning of the word cat. This is the letter D. what does the letter D spell? The letter D spells D. The letter D spells D, like in the beginning of the word duck. This is the letter O. And what does the letter O spell? The letter O spells ah. The letter O spells ah, like in the beginning of the word otter. This is the letter N. And what does the letter N spell? The letter N spells N. The letter N spells N, like in the beginning of the word nest. This is the letter I. And what does the letter I spell? The letter I spells I. The letter I spells I, like in the beginning of the word inchworm. This is the letter F. And what does the letter F spell? The letter F spells F. The letter F spells F, like in the beginning of the word feather. Feather. This is the letter P. And what does the letter P spell? The letter P spells P. The letter P spells like in the beginning of the word penguin.
Now that we finished our visual drill, it's time for our auditory drill. So let's head down the path and practice our sounds. Please write the letter that makes the sound X. Please write the letter that makes the sound X. This is how you write the letter X. You start at the top line and you do a slanted line down to the bottom. Then you hop back up to the top and do a slanted line the other way back down to the bottom. To trace the letter X, we're going to do the same thing in the air together. Let's hop to the top, do a slanted line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, slanted line down to the bottom. That is how you write and trace the letter X. Please write the letter that makes the sound Y. Please write the letter that makes the sound Y. To write the letter Y, you're going to start at the top line and do a slanted line down to the middle. Then you're going to hop back up to the top line and do another slanted line down to the middle. When you're at that middle spot, you're going to do a straight line down to the bottom, a straight vertical line. Now let's trace the letter Y in the air together. Hopping to the top, we're going to do a slanted line to the middle, hop back up to the top, do a slanted line to the middle, and then do a vertical line from the middle to the bottom. That's how you write and trace the letter Y. Please write the letter that makes the sound J. Please write the letter that makes the sound J. To write the letter J, you're going to go to the top line and do a candy cane shape. So you're going to go from the top straight down to the bottom and then curve back up just a bit. Then you're going to hop back up to that top line and do a straight line across that top line. So you end up with a straight straight horizontal line, excuse me. Let's trace that one together in the air. Let's do a J. So we're going to hop to the top, do a candy cane shape down and curving back up. Then we're going to hop back up to the top and do a horizontal line across that straight line that we just drew. And that is how you write and trace the letter J. Please write the letter that makes the sound W. Please write the letter that makes the sound W. This is how you write the letter W. You're going to start at the top line and do a slanted line down to the bottom. Then from the bottom, you're going to do a slanted line back up to the top. When you're at the top, you're going to do a slanted line back down to the bottom. And when you're at the bottom, you'll do a slanted line back up to the top. Let's trace the letter W in the air together. So starting at the top, we're going to do a slanted line down to the bottom. From the bottom, we'll do a slanted line back up to the top. From the top, we'll do the slanted line back down to the bottom. And from the bottom, we'll do a slanted line back up to the top.
And that is how you do the very fun letter W. Please write the letter that makes the sound L. Please write the letter that makes the sound L. To write the letter L, you're going to hop up to the top line and do a vertical line straight down to the bottom. When you're at the bottom, you're going to do another line, this time a horizontal line across the bottom. That is how you write a letter L. Let's trace it together. We're going to hop to the top, do a straight line down to the bottom, and do a horizontal line across the bottom. And that's how we write and trace the letter L. Please write the letter that makes the sound R. Please write the letter that makes the sound R. To write the letter R, you're going to start at the top line and do a vertical line down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do a curve all the way back across the middle. Then when you're at that middle, you're going to do a slanted line down to the bottom. Now let's trace it in the air together. We're going to do a straight line from the top all the way down to the bottom. When we're at the bottom, we're hopping back up to the top and doing a curve to the middle. Once we're at that middle, we will do a slanted line down to the bottom. And that is how we write the letter R. Please write the letter that makes the sound H. Please write the letter that makes the sound H. To write the letter H, you're going to start at the top and do a vertical line down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do another vertical line down to the bottom. Then you'll do a horizontal line across the middle, connecting those two lines. Let's trace a letter H in the air. We're going to start at the top, do a vertical line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, do a vertical line down to the bottom, and then hopping to the middle, we will connect those two lines with a horizontal line. I really like the letter H because it is a symmetrical letter, meaning if we wanted to, we could fold that letter in half and it would be the same on either side. That is how you write and draw the letter H. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. To write the letter K, you're going to hop to the top line and do a vertical line straight down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do a slanted line to the middle line, connecting with that first line. Then from that middle line, you're going to do another slanted line, but this one down to the bottom. Now let's trace it in the air together. We're going to hop to the top, do a straight line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, do a slanted line to the middle, and then hop from the middle down to the bottom. That is how you write the letter K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Let's write the letter C. We're going to start almost at the top line and do a curve from that top spot, almost at that top spot, all the way around towards the bottom and curving up just a little bit. All right, now let's trace it together in the air. Starting almost at the top, we're going to curve around, down towards the middle, towards the bottom, curving back up and stopping. So we're almost making a circle, but not quite. And that is how you write and trace the letter C. Please write the letter that makes the sound Z. Write the letter that makes the sound Z. This is how you write the letter Z. You do one horizontal line across the top of your page. Then you do a slanted line from the top down to the bottom line. And then you do a third line, which is another horizontal line across at the bottom. All right, now let's trace that letter in the air together. We're going to do a line across, slanted line down to the bottom, and another line across. That's how you write the letter Z. Write the letter that makes the sound S. Write the letter that makes the sound S. This is how you write the letter S. Starting almost at the top, you're going to do a curve around and down to the middle. Then you're going to do a curve the opposite direction, down to the bottom, and scooping up just a little bit when you're at the bottom. Let's trace this one in the air together. This is a really fun letter. To do the letter S, we're going to start almost at the top, curve all the way around towards the middle, then going the opposite direction, we're going to curve towards the bottom and curve just slightly back up. And that is how you write and trace the letter S. Please write the letter that makes the sound E. Please write the letter that makes the sound E. To write the letter E, you're going to start at the top line and do a vertical line straight down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do a horizontal line across, connecting with that first line. Then you're going to hop to the middle, do another horizontal line, connecting with that first line, and then you hop down to the bottom and do another horizontal line, connecting with that first line. Let's trace it in the air together. Hop to the top, straight line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, do a straight line connecting to that first line, hop to the middle, do another straight line connecting to that first line, and then hop to the bottom and do another straight line connecting to that first line. And that is how you write and trace the letter E.
Fantastic job on our visual and our auditory drill. It's time now for us to take all our sounds and blend them together for our blending drill. So let's continue down our path. Here's our blending board setup for today. We have so many letters in our initial column: F, J, L, N, S, P, W, and Y. In our medial area, we're working with 4 vowels, A, E, I, and O. And for our final area, we're only working with 3. We're working with G, P, and X. So let's get started. For the first word, we're going to make the number, but the word 6. 6. S. I. X. 6. 6. Now, I would like you to change 6 to sip. Sip. Oh, I'll take off that X ending and put a p, p, sip. Sip. Now, how would I change sip to yip? Yip. Oh, I'm going to need a Y, and I do yip. How would I change yip to yap? Yap. I'm going to take off my I and put an A, and I get yap. Now, what happens if I take off my Y and put an L in the beginning? I get lap. Now, I'd like to change lap to lag. Lag. Taking off that P, putting that G, lag. Now, I would like you to think about how to switch lag to wag. Oh, I'm going to need to take off my L and put a W there. Wag. Now, what happens if I take off my G and put an X? I get wax. Wax, like what crayons are made out of. Wax can be turned to jacks. How? By taking off that W and adding a J. Jacks. That's a name that people have, the name Jacks. Okay, now what happens if I take off the J and put an L? I get lax. That is the nickname for the Los Angeles airport, and it's also the nickname for the sport lacrosse, and it's also the shortening of the word laxity, which means being flexible. Lax is an interesting word. Now, what happens if I take off my A and put an E? I get lex, which is also a name. And what if I just take off that L? I get X. Now, I want to change X to ox. I think I'm going to need this O there. Ox. And what happens if I put a P there? I get, oh, that's not the P I wanted. That's a final P. That's not at all what I wanted. That looked very odd to my eyes. What happens if I put this P here? I get pox. Pox, like the chicken pox. Oh, so itchy. I had that when I was little. I'm so glad that most kids don't get it anymore. Okay, that's the end of our blending drill for now. So take off the letters. Oh, we get ox. Put our O away and our X away. And that's the end of our blending for today. We're now entering the second part of our lesson. If you're going to do just part 1, this is where you'll pause. But if you're doing part 1 and part 2 today, then keep going with me and we'll review that new concept we talked about at the beginning of our lesson. Let's go.
This is the letter Q. What letter is this? The letter Q. Yep, that's right. And Q is a consonant. It's a very interesting consonant because there's certain things about Q that make it different from all the other letters. Let me tell you more about that. So in the English language, when we see the letter Q, we typically also see the letter U right next to it, like almost always. And together, these two letters as a team make the sound qua, qua. Can you make that sound? Qua. We hear that qua in the beginning of the word queen. Queen. Can you say queen in a fancy way? Queen, queen, queen. Qua, qua, qua. We often see the Q and the U together in the beginning of words, such as in the word quiz, is quiz. Oops, I did that weird. Let's try that again. You do it with me. Is quiz. Or in the beginning of the word quilt. Ooh, I love quilts. I'm such a blanket person. I just love to be cozy. All right, let's say quilt together, saying those sounds. Quilt, quilt. Now, even though Q and U are two different letters, together they make that qu sound, which is one sound. Now let's talk more about how this sound is made, because kind of like the X that we talked about in our last lesson, there's more than one mouth shape that's happening when we're making the qu sound. All right, let's explore the qu sound. It is like a teamwork sound. This sound happens when the two letters Q and U work together to make the qu sound. So we're going to start by rounding our lips like we're about to whistle, then use the back of our tongue to block the airflow for just a quick moment before letting it burst out with a puff. Try it out. Round your lips, stop that air, and then pop it out. Isn't it amazing how letters can team up to create sounds? I think about this is where our voice is sort of like an instrument, and we have all these different cool things that we can do with it to make musical notes in a way, but instead of them being notes, they're phonemes. And so is a really interesting phoneme because we have those two mouth shapes happening with it. Let's write the letter Q in the air. So making that letter Q is going to be 2 lines, but one of them super curvy. All right, so we're going to start at the top, and we're talking all the way top, and you're going to do like an egg shape. So we're going to go down, curve around to the bottom, but keep going, curve back up to the top and stop where you started. So we've got our big egg, and now at the bottom, we're going to do a little slanted line. And that line starts about halfway between the middle point and the bottom point. And you're just going to do a little slanted line to the bottom. Just a little notch. All right, let's do it again. Do a big egg that takes up the space from the top to the bottom. Curve, 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 and stop. Hop down so you're below the middle line and do a little slanted line down to the bottom. And that's an uppercase letter Q. To make a lowercase letter Q, it looks very different from an uppercase letter Q. Isn't that interesting? Some letters, the big one and the small one, look almost exactly alike, except one's smaller. But that's not happening in this situation. We have a lowercase q that's very different. So to make a lowercase q, you're going to start at the middle line and do a curve around, and back up to the middle line. Then you'll do a straight line down, past the bottom, and then stopping there, you'll slant back up to that bottom line. I've actually always really enjoyed doing lowercase q's. Now, it's important to note that sometimes when people do the lowercase q, they don't always do the slant back up, and that is okay. It's still a lowercase q, it's just a different way of writing it. Okay, let's practice again. So you're going to start at the middle, curve around, 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 back up to the top, straight down, past the bottom, and do a little slanted line back up to the bottom. And that's how you write an uppercase and a lowercase q.
We've now reached the part of our lesson where we do our word work. So if you have a word work board that looks like that on my sign, you should pause here and get out your materials. If you're going to follow along with me and my word work board, then let's keep going together on this path. Let's go do some word work. I've got my word work mat all set up here. Now, if you're going to be working on a word work mat wherever you are, feel free to pause and get yourself set up with your materials. If not, let's get started. So you've noticed I've added our letter Q to the board since that's the letter we're working on this lesson, and so we get to have it on our mats. So our first word I'd like for us to make is the word flip. 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 I hear f. Ooh. Flip. Flip. Now, if I take off that F, I'm left with lip, lip. Now, what happens if I take off that L, and now I'm going to put a Q and a U, and I get quip, quip. So to quip about something is to sort of complain about it. So if I say, I have a quip with you, it means I have a complaint. Okay, now if I take off that P, and add a T, I get quit. So to quit is to stop doing something. Now, I would like to change quit to quilt. Quilt. So I'm going to need quilt. I see that I will need an L. Quilt. Quilt. So quilt could become wilt. Wilt. Oh, I'll take off my Q and my U, my new power team here, and I will put a W and I get wilt, wilt. Now what happens if I take off the L and I replace it with an S? I get whist, whist. Now I want to change whist to west, and I'll do that by adding this new in place of my west. Now please help me change west to best. Best. I'm going to need to take off my W and put a B, and I get best, best. And I would like to end my word work today with a quest, quest. So I'll take off my B. Oh, I have est. And now I need my power team here, my and I'm going to put them in the beginning, and I get quest. Quest, and that means we've completed our quest for our word work today. So let's put our letters back where they came, whence they came. Q on the Q, U on the U, E on the E, S on the S, and T is neighbors with the S. All right, we're all set for next time for our word work. Great job. Wonderful word work, readers. It's time now for us to head over to our irregular word practice. So let's head down this path and keep going. The word is are. Say it with me, are. Now let's use are in a sentence. For example, we are friends. Now you try using are in a sentence. Let's figure out together how many sounds are in the word are. We're going to finger tap those sounds. What's the first sound? Ah, and the next sound, Ah, ar. Let's do it again. Ooh, we just sounded like a pirate. Ah, ar. Now let's focus on the parts of this word that we need to learn by heart. When we look at this word and we hear this word, we hear R, but the letters are A, R, E. And we haven't really learned yet about the rule with an E at the end of a word. So we would expect this word to say air because the E is helping out that A, but that's not what's happening with this word. We pronounce this word R. So the unexpected part of this word is the E at the end because it's not doing the job that we expect it to do. So what word is this? R. Now let's practice spelling it on our arm. A-R-E-R. Again, A-R-E-R.
R. And that is the word R. The word is was. Say it with me, was. Now let's use was in a sentence. For example, she was at school. Now you try using this word in a sentence. Let's figure out how many sounds are in the word was. We're going to finger tap those sounds. The first sound, w. The next sound, The last sound, z. Was. Let's do it again. Z. Was. There are 3 sounds in the word was. Now let's focus on what makes this irregular. When we look at the first sound, we see the W, and it is making an expected sound. It's saying w. But then we get to the A and the S. The A is making the sound as if it were a U, but it's not a U, it's an A. So we need to learn that part by heart. And the Z, or the S, is making a Z sound, which we haven't learned about yet, but sometimes the S does that. So this is was. There are several parts of this word that we need to learn by heart. Let's practice spelling it on our arm. W-A-S, was. Can you do that? W-A-S, was. And this is the word was. So the word is you. Say it with me, you. Now let's use the word you in a sentence. For example, you are my friend. Now you, try using you in a sentence. Remember, you can pause if you need to. So let's figure out how many sounds are in the word you. Let's finger tap. Y, oo, you. Again, y, oo, you. There are 2 sounds in the word you. Now let's look at what makes this word irregular. The Y is making an expected sound. It's saying y. Now let's look at the O and the U together. We hear ooh, which is not what we expect from that vowel team when they're together. The O and the U together are a vowel team, but they're not making their expected vowel team sound. Instead, they're saying ooh. And that's the part of this word that we need to know by heart. So we have you. And the heart helps us remember the by heart part. All right, let's spell this out on our arm. Y-O-U, you. Again, make sure you do it with me. Y-O-U, you. And that is the word you. Wow, readers, we are nearly at the end of our lesson today. Our last practice is our connected text, which is my favorite part of all of our lessons. Now we are going to take all the concepts we've been working on and we're going to put them together as readers and as writers. So let's go and finish up our practice together. It's time for us to do our connected text reading to connect everything we've been doing today into some reading and then some writing. So these sheets are available in the link below that is to my Teachers Pay Teachers page where I have all of this available for you to use wherever you're learning. So before we start reading, I just wanted to show you that this is a lot of text on a page, and if it feels overwhelming, it's okay to cover up everything else that you don't need to be working on. So we can go ahead and just keep available that top sentence. And in fact, I can even cover up this text too, so that all I have out, oh, that paper's a little bendy. All I have out is just this sentence. And it just makes it so it feels calmer, so our brains don't have so much to focus on. And I don't know about you, but I like anything that I can make feel calmer. So let's go ahead and count how many words we see in this first sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oops, I drew it on the word 5. So we have 5 words we're going to be reading, and we've been talking about the letters Q and U. It's a partner letter here, and I see we've got those right there. So let's go ahead and read. Did you, that's one of our irregular words, get, did you get a quest? Did you get a quest? Oh, I would love a quest. I guess my quest right now is making these lessons for you every day. It's very fun and it's a big quest. All right, I'm going to scoot my paper down and then scoot this paper down so that all I have is my next sentence to look at. Our next sentence, let's count those words. 1, 2, 3, 4 words. And by golly, I see a lot of Q's here. So I see Q, Q, and Q. We have lots of Q's to read. This is a mostly Q starting sentence, isn't it? Let's read. In. Quinn. Oh, that's somebody's name. I know a Quinn. I've had a Quinn in my class before. Quinn, quit. Quinn quit the, we know that, it's an irregular word. Quinn quit the quest. We just read that word, quest. Quinn quit the quest. Oh my goodness, I bet Quinn probably had a good reason to quit the quest. Now let's get out another color for us to work with, and we'll scoot our paper down to our last sentence. And there we have it. This one, let's count our words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. And do we see any words here with the letter Q? I see, oh, right there, the end. All right, so let's read. Did Wes, oh, it's capital W, so it's his name. Did Wes see the quilt? Did Wes see the quilt? Oh, but there's a question mark here, so I need to read it like a question. Did Wes see the quilt? I wonder if this was like a quilt that was a gift for Wes. I don't know. Now that we have read all 3 of our sentences, we can uncover them and read them together. Let's read them through. I'm going to pull out this purple marker. Did you get a quest? Quinn quit the quest. Did Wes see the quilt? Maybe the quilt was somehow related to the quest. I don't know. I always think it interesting to like find ways to connect these 3 sentences into a little story in my mind. Sometimes it feels like they might be the beginning of a story, and sometimes they feel unrelated. All right, let's go write. It's time for us to write our connected text. Now, I really want you to be doing this out wherever you're learning. So after I say the sentence and we count out the words, it's a great time for you to pause and make sure you do this on your own, and then we can check it together. Okay, our first sentence. Can you see the squid? 5 words. Can you see the squid? I'm going to mark it on my page so I have a sense of words. Can you see the squid? Can you see the squid? Go ahead, pause, and write. Okay, now let's check together. Can, capital C, because it's the beginning of our sentence. Can, it's kind of a wonky looking A. That's okay. Can you, Y-O-U, spells you. We've been practicing that a lot. Can you see, that's another one of our irregular words. See the, T-H-E, the, can you see the squid? S, I hear S, Q, U, because they're a team, squid. Can you see the squid? Question mark. Can you? Ooh, my goodness. All right, our next sentence. I'll do this one in purple. It is when the den has the quilt. The den has the quilt. The den has the quilt. 5 words. Let's mark them. The den has the quilt. And so I would like you to pause and write this. The den has the quilt. All right, let's write it together now that you've written it on your own. Capital T-H-E, the den. So a den is a word sometimes people use to describe a place where they might have like a living room in their house. Not everyone calls it a den, but if there's a spot maybe where you have a TV, maybe that's where you read, maybe that's where your couch is. Sometimes people call that space a den. So the den has the quilt. Has, that's one of our irregular words. The, and then quilt. I definitely know we've got our Q-U for quilt. Quilt. The den has the quilt. There's a quilt in, I guess, what would be my den as well, although we don't really call it a den. I guess we call it more family room. Okay, and then last sentence is, Wes is on a quest. Wes is on a quest. Another 5-word sentence. Wes is on a quest. Wes is on a quest. Pause and then come back. Capital W for Wes. Wes is a name, is irregular word, on a, Wes is on a, and then we've used this word a lot today, quest, Q-U, Wes is on a quest. I think we should give that an exclamation point because it sounds exciting. Wes is on a quest. Yay, Wes. Let's read all of our sentences and then I will say toodaloo because it's the end of our lesson. Can you see the squid? The den has the quilt. Wes is on a quest. By golly, that was some beautiful writing that you did today. I am very proud of you. I hope you are proud of you. Congratulations! We made it to the end of today's lesson. You are working so hard as a reader and as a writer, and I am so proud of you. But more importantly, I hope that you are proud of you. You are doing such a wonderful job in the Reader's Garden. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye!